April 28th and at 6 o'clock in the Oconee County Board of Zoning Appeals will now come to order. The first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for 3/24/25. Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, one question, just point of interest, if you read when you read the minutes that were sent out earlier, it had February 24th. That has been corrected on the official record so that there's no amendments needed. Okay, anybody have any other questions or amendments? Okay, all in favor? Anybody opposed? No opposed, it carries. Okay, brief statement of regarding the rules and procedures for this evening. The applicant will provide a presentation about the needs for the variance for 5 minutes, with the chair having the ability to extend that if time is required. Staff will address any additional issues. There'll be a citizen comment period for 5 minutes. Each person could speak, and we would ask that if somebody's speaking, then somebody prior to them has said the same things, please just either concur with it and move on, rather than just we appreciate it if you rehash the same points that other people are making. The applicant rebuttal and questions from the board members will commence after that. And then once the board starts its deliberations, there will be no further input from the audience. It'll be just the board discussing the matter, and then we'll go through a procedure of voting on 4 different questions. If any one of the 4 questions is in the negative, then the variance would be denied. So just so that you know that going in. Excuse me. The first item tonight is variance application VA 24000024. Wyatt Fulbright of Richland Creek is requesting a front setback variance of 22 feet to allow for a new property line between the existing storage building and the existing shop building. TMS number is 252-00-01-005 with an address of 2036 Sandifer Boulevard, Seneca, South Carolina, 29678. Would the applicant please come forward and state your name for the record? Make your presentation.
Yes, I'm Wyatt Fulbright,
Yes,
the owner of 2036 Sandifer Boulevard, and we're requesting to split the land along the current topography of the land. It has about an 8-foot ravine that runs down the side and through the middle on the back of that shop. So we're looking to split the land. It was already 2 parcels before when we purchased it. Somehow the surveyor had it recorded as 1 parcel. So we're just gonna get it back into 2, but I guess the problem is between the storage units and the shop, there's only about 24 feet. They're separated about an 8-foot cliff, so we're requesting to be able to put a divider between the 2 and separate the parcel there. So we're not really concerned. I think I requested 2 to 3 feet off of the shop. We're open. It doesn't matter if you guys want to split it down the middle, 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. That's just the line we want to split it on, since the topography runs through there.
Could you show us on the map where what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
can I walk over here?
If you would, please.
Okay. Can you go back to, yeah, you can almost see it right here. So the road runs up, and they're already a split in land elevation by about 4 feet. It drops down along this whole side, and by the time you get here, it's about an 8-foot drop. And that 8-foot, that shop's kind of like built into the cliff. So the back of that shop you could barely see, and it's probably 16 to 20 foot tall. So kind of like where that line is, that's the topography of a big cliff, and that's where we're looking to divide it, is right through here along the back of the shop. And these are just like storages, self-storages. So I recommended about 2 to 3 feet off for maintenance reasons, but we're open to whatever you guys decide on. If it's 5 feet, 10 feet, we're not really concerned about that spot. And I think I had other pictures as well, did I? That kind of show what I'm talking about. So as you drive in, it already has its own entryway to that whole zone, and you can see the ravine starting to take off there. You can see it gets larger as we head back. and then right here where it starts to touch the shop, you can see the area. It ends here, and that's the back of the shop where it's about 8 foot tall. And then it gets into a whole bunch of flat land, about 3 acres of flat land back there that the shop's kind of incorporated in. And I think that you can see where I drew the hillside and where we're requesting along the back there.
What does that green line denote?
That ridge.
The ridge?
The
Okay,
ridge
that's just
that
the ridge, it
separates
has
the
nothing
big
to do.
elevation.
No.
And one of the reasons about getting it back into 2 parcels is that we bought this, and there's kind of a lot going on this older property. And there's kind of like 2 business models here. You have a storefront where there's about 7 units, and then we have the storage units behind it that don't really do any good. And then you have a big warehouse shop that's like 2 different kind of business models.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense to kind of break the back of the shop off where the land's already divided. And that land already has a septic there, it has its own utility power, so at some point, whoever built it already had it as like 2 separate entities.
So the only people it affects are the 2 parties, the 2 buildings, the storage units and the storage building?
Yeah, the back of the shop, and then those self-storages right there.
Okay, anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask, gentlemen? Before we ask, okay. James, do you have any comments?
So setback variance, depending on how you want them to break it up, you might need to consider, so the 22-foot variance was to meet the other setback requirement from the new property line. So if you're gonna do something different than the one that's proposed, just make sure you do it for both of the sides of the property line. So if it's gonna be down the middle, we'll need to do a little quick math and figure out what that actually needs to be for a variance on both sides of the line.
Who has the storage? Who owns that?
I own it all.
You own it all? Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's just a divide of a property we already own. To the right there is Ridgeland Creek, so there's no one to the right, and to the left, you can see it's they're actually a whole storefront over. I think it's like a Tractor Supply, so they have all their equipment stored between them, but you can see they're stored to the left way over there. Yeah, but we own those as well.
So what would be the ideal split for you?
The ideal split would be the back of the shop, because I understand for maintenance reasons, but kind of putting it right on the back of the shop would be fine. But if we need like 3 feet where we could pour a walkway, so there's a distinct, area and we can kind of get drainage off the back of the shop, I'm okay with the 3-foot walkway as well. I think 3 foot would be,
What specifically did the variance cover?
The variance requested 22 feet, which is including 3 feet.
But what would that do in terms of the separation between the 2 types of buildings?
well, so, can I
Where does
answer
the
that?
22, where does it
Well, I'm not sure,
represent?
I'm kind of figuring out, I don't know where the 22 came from, because the closest point out of all the storage units is this one, it's from there to there, and I think it's 22 feet. So if we did a 3-foot walkway and put the line there, you would have like 17 feet between this one and that one. So that's the closest point. All these ones are farther back, this is our closest one, so if we did 3 foot, it would be a 3 foot for one property line and about 16, 17 feet. We'd actually have to physically measure that. I have it on Planimeter where I can measure it, but.
So from the existing, vertical storage buildings, if you can see that
Yep.
house where it is right now, or we can actually point. So from these guys, the rear setback on that new property line is gonna be 10 feet. So the appropriate setback would be for that line to be 10 feet off of that closest point. For the rear. The front, coming off of this building, should be 25 feet, based on the size of it. So if you allow for the 10 there, and you're saying there's about 17,
That would allow about a 7.
so you would have 7 there, so you would want a 13, 14, 15 foot,
Variance?
yeah.
So that,
We can write it.
So we would,
get
check.
that.
Would that,
So this is gonna only impact if somebody else buys the property, right? Is that?
Yeah.
why
That would
you-
only impact if someone else bought it.
If somebody
Yeah.
else bought the property, that's what it's. And it's not gonna put anybody in a bind,
No.
in your opinion,
and,
if somebody
and
buys it.
and they'll know
So if they
what
had the
they're.
variance, like if they didn't have the variance and somebody else bought it.
Right,
Yeah.
right, but I
Yeah.
mean,
But yeah, with the variance, they're
Yeah.
not creating a
if somebody buys it, then they'll come and say, what are y'all thinking? But-
so actually the store, the archery store there, the front of that business is actually the other side of the building.
Yeah, the other side.
So that would be like, actually the back of the building.
Correct, yeah, the other side that's kind of, I think that's a flood zone map.
It is.
Yeah, so the front of that is where they enter in. This back is gone, like, it's filled up complete with dirt because this is so high. So that's not a front, it's a back. It's like they're facing two different directions as well.
And would that not be considered a rear setback then?
So it's still gonna be the front, cause it's the closest point to the road where it's
Okay.
coming off. So this is it's not a road coming in on the right-hand side, that's actually just a driveway.
Probably the simplest way would be to divide that, probably divide it down the middle, I would think.
That's fine, whatever y'all want to do. So
And
we
then,
can write it so
and
that
then have the measurements come off of the further building, because that's a nice straight line.
Sure.
And what would that be?
So we can write it as allow for the property to be split between the two, are the three existing structures that are vertical and the one shop building, just split the
Okay.
difference.
So,
So we can write it to allow for those.
How would we word the variance setback, or the setback, on this would, let's see, Richland represent, front, setback variance of 22 feet, a variance, how
To
many
allow
feet?
for a new property line to
Huh?
go between, splitting the difference on both sides of the existing buildings.
You went 10 foot off the back of the nice straight building, the big shop, you're almost at halfway anyways.
How many?
10 feet, if you just went 10 feet off the back of the warehouse, you're basically splitting it. I mean, it's gonna be a foot or two off at the most in some areas.
And then, but what would the variance be at that, what would the variance be?
We can do it based on the verbiage instead of
We
on the
can?
actual, footage, and just say allow for the new property line to go in the middle between
So,
the existing.
we'd have a setback variance, that would, variance to allow, for a new property line between the existing storage building and the existing, shop building. That would be 10 feet, did you say 10?
10 feet, sir, about center.
Which would be 10 feet.
You're saying verbiage rather than footage, right?
I think that's gonna be easier so that you don't have somebody come back later and say, well, it's actually.
James, correct.
7.
You're good with that?
We're good with
Okay.
that.
10 feet, from shop building,
Yes.
shop building.
Suggest a verbiage.
Yeah, well,
Let me see if I can, the variance application, I'll go through, Fulbright, let's see, from Richland Creek is requesting a front setback variance to allow for a new property line between the existing storage building and the existing shop building, which would be 10 feet from the shop building. The new-
That's what
well,
the
the
difference,
new-
right,
the-
rather than put
I
a
think you're
footage.
gonna be-
The property line to be the new property line, to be 10 feet, from the shop building. Is that,
He said divide it.
huh?
Divide it rather than put a footage, is what James recommended.
Okay,
It's
you
so
got the
we can
wording?
just-
Yeah.
You can do it either way, so.
Good.
Huh?
I would say let James.
You wanna
the
do,
verbiage.
you wanna give me the verbiage?
It would
Just
be,
to allow for the
Huh?
new property line between the existing storage buildings and shop building.
we could do either way, just let him decide which way he'd rather do it since it's his property.
I can just put divided equally, and then I can have the surveyor, when he draws it up, to record it, it'll be pretty doggone close, you know, he'll measure as close as he can.
What are we saying now? It's gonna, yeah, you're gonna
Divided, just put divided equally, maybe?
Storage building, shop building, the new property line. To be. Okay, the new, it'll read the, existing shop building, comma, the new property line to be divided equally between the storage building and the shop building.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, and, do we have a motion
I'll
to
make a
that
motion.
effect?
Second.
Do we have a second? Okay. Do we have any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Good, you have your.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys' time.
You need to go through the, all four.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Questions?
Oh, I forgot. Good, my mistake.
No, you're,
No, we gotta go through the questions. I missed a step here. Okay. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property. Do I have a motion in the affirmative?
So move.
Second. Do we have any discussion? No discussion, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Opposed. You have unanimous. These conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Okay. Do we have any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
it's unanimous.
Because of these conditions, the application of this chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So, second.
Second. Okay. Do we have any discussion? No discussion, all in favor? Unanimous. 4, the authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent uses or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Second. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
It's unanimous.
Unanimous. Okay, based on the evidence presented to the board, do I hear a motion that the proposed variance be approved?
So move.
Second.
Second? Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
It's unanimous.
It's official now.
Thank you guys, appreciate it. Thank you for going.
Okay, the next variance application is number VA 25000005. Leanne Manley is requesting a 14-foot reduction front setback for a metal building. TMS number is 086-00-02-149 with an address of 412 Whispering Pines Lane, Salem, South Carolina, 29676. Would the applicant please come forward? Would you, please give your name for the record, please.
Yes, sir, Leon Manley.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I put the metal building up, for storage. I gotta take full accountability for not checking beforehand. I thought it was 25-foot setback. The two closest homes to the building are about the same distance as mine from the road or closer to the road. I really don't, it was just kind of my mistake for not checking beforehand, honestly. But as far as I know, the neighbors and everybody I've talked to around the area, is in favor of it, and it's no issue or anything at all. It's kind of, I don't know if y'all have any pictures of, okay, yeah, that's where the building sits there, and it's 36 foot from the center of the road, and, I think there's a couple more pictures of the other homes that was, let's see. That's the one that's maybe a quarter mile down the road. They may be 25 foot from the center of the road. I think there may be another one, but,
That's all the pictures.
oh, okay, I'm sorry,
There's also this one.
okay. My grandmother lives right below me there with a red roof. I come up there, I live in Anderson, or Star. I come up about once or twice a week, to help her out. Plan to eventually build a home in the field there in front of where the building is. So that's kind of a little background on that, but.
Anybody on the board have any questions?
How long's the building been there?
Maybe 3 months now, 4 or 5 months, yes, sir.
From what you're saying, it would appear that you're not much different than the houses down the road, right?
Yes, sir, correct.
Basically, in terms of setback from the center line of the road.
Yes, sir, correct.
Anybody else have any questions? No, sir. Hey, do you have any comments, James?
So front setback, if they're measured from the center line of the road, would need to be 50, if there is right of way on the road.
Yeah.
Building got put up, they came in, I think y'all came in to get a power permit.
That's right,
after the
yes,
fact.
yes.
So the building already been put up, they came in to get power, so we realized there was a mistake with the placement. So we've gotten all of that corrected, just need to get the variance to keep it where it is.
Keep it. Okay. Well, thank you. May take your seat.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. If there's no further questions, let's get on with the questions that we have to. Here, let's see what I did. Okay. First one, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
Second.
Second? Do we have any discussion? No discussion, all in favor? These conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Unanimous. Because of these conditions, the application of this chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
It's unanimous.
Unanimous. Okay, the authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent uses or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
Second.
Second? Okay, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Unanimous.
Okay, based on the evidence presented to the board, do I hear a motion that the proposed variance be approved?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
It's unanimous.
It's unanimous. You have your variance. Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is a special exception application. Jason, do you want to step down?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to recuse myself from this, citing that I'm a contract employee at Duke Energy. So, I'm gonna step out.
Wait a minute. Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'm a contractor for Hydro, but Hydro has nothing to do with this.
No, you're okay.
Okay.
Transmission.
I would say no problem. Yeah, if you were a direct employee of Duke, then you would have an issue. But
No, I'm
you
just
don't
a
have
contractor for Hydro.
No. You know, there's nothing, you have nothing to gain by it. Special exemption application SE 25000001, Ryan Woods of Tower Engineering Professionals is requesting a new communications tower for Duke Energy. The TMS number is 016-00-01-001 with an address of 100 Bad Creek Road, Salem, South Carolina, 29676.
Good afternoon. My
Good
name's
afternoon.
Sarah Sproul. I'm from the law firm of Hainsworth, Sinclair Boyd, and we think this is the last time Duke's gonna be in here for at least the near future asking for a tower variance or special exception. This time it's just a special exception. The site is where the Bad Creek Reservoir is, so it's a huge parcel. It's almost a 1,900 acre parcel. Last time we were in here about this particular parcel, we were here for a great big tall tower, and that's been built, and that's great, but once it was built, Duke discovered that it didn't work to transmit the radio signals on that site. So what Duke is here asking for now is to replace an end-of-life radio tower that transmits around that site. The only hitch, it will take the old tower down as soon as the new one's built, but it needs to be able to talk to its substation on the site during that construction process. So this is a monopole instead of a great big tower. It's a height of 130 feet. So we're here because the tower's over 75 feet. But as far as we can tell, it's consistent with the county's comprehensive plan. It's gonna aid by literally helping to power the plan and goals for residential and commercial growth in Oconee County in the coming years. It's in the best interest in the county. Again, Duke's operations are of vital importance to all of the county's goals going forward. It's suitable and appropriate. This is a very large rural parcel. There were no complaints in response to the balloon test. No one has put in anything in response to this application. And there should be zero traffic impact. This is wholly on Duke's site and wholly off a private drive. So we don't see any reason why the special exception shouldn't be granted. And if you have questions, I've got some engineering folks with me, but we're happy to provide any information y'all might need.
Board have any questions?
So in the picture, that existing tower's coming down after you get everything in place, that one's coming down, so.
Tim, what page are you on, sorry? Top
I'm on
left
the
corner.
pictures.
Yeah, top left corner. Should have the picture number on.
So in the. Patrick, I think he's
It's right by the balloon
tower.
test.
Is this one the one that's coming?
That's the four-legged.
Okay, so yes, the four-legged one, when
Yeah.
you're looking at the picture to the
It-
left,
it
is
comes
the
down
one that's
after you
coming
get-
down.
That's the one that's coming down.
Yes, sir.
And there'll be another one similar to the
This is
pole.
The simulation is the one on the right that's
Right
just the
there.
single post, so,
Already.
so that's the computer rendering of what's coming.
Anybody have any, you had a question?
Yeah, just, what's the life of a tower?
50 years?
Yeah.
Roughly 50 years. And the good news is the technology gets better all the time. So who knows what we'll be asking for in 50 years, and none of us will be here thinking about it.
Worry about it.
But we've been doing these around the state. We're just coming up on 50 years on all of them.
Is this one that breaks off also if, in case of a storm?
It is.
Any other questions?
My amateur tower's in trouble.
Okay, thank you. I think.
Thank you.
Do you have any comments?
Happy to answer any questions about it. They are not asking for any specific variances, only the exception to allow for the tower to be.
I've been up there, you're in Hell's Half Acre, so there's not much but Duke up there.
That's right.
Okay.
We appreciate y'all's consideration.
Thank you.
Let's get on then with our questions. One, is in accordance with the comprehensive plan and consistent with the spirit, purposes, and the intent of the specific requirements of this chapter to include the definition and intent of the district in which the special exception is being requested. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a
Second.
Do we have any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
It's unanimous.
Is in the best interest of the county, the convenience of the community, and the public welfare. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Second? Okay, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
It's unanimous.
Is suitable for the property in question in design, constructed, operated, and maintained so as to be in harmony with the appropriate, and appropriate in appearance to the existing or intended character of the general vicinity. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
It's unanimous.
Unanimous. Is suitable in terms of effects on the highway traffic, parking, and safety with adequate access arrangements to protect streets from undue congestion and hazards. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Okay, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor? Okay, based on the evidence presented to the board, do I hear a motion that the proposed special exception be approved?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Unanimous.
It's unanimous. Very good, you have your exception.
Right.
Good luck. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So much.
Second.